Okay. Okay. My name is Rantibu Jaycox, and I am conducting an interview for the Bridges That Carried Us Over project. The project is to archive the African American history in the inland area. And today is May the 5th, and we are located at the San Bernardino County Superintendent of School office. And I'm interviewing a couple, Marion and Charlette Black. Let me ask you first, Charlette, to say your name, whole name, and spell it for me.
Charlotte Edward Black. CharlotteEdwardBlack.
And Marion, the same question to you. Give us your full name and the way you spell it.
Marion Black Jr. Spell it MarionBlackJr. Period.
Okay. Now, married, how long have you been married?
You get to say it.
At last, 55 plus years.
55.
One of the best things that ever happened to me, Bill.
55
One of the
plus
best
years,
things that
and that's
ever
good.
happened.
So, I'm gonna ask, this is one question, but it needs to come from both of you.
Okay.
And you, because you may have a different answer to this question.
Okay.
What attracted you to Marion first? For you to be attracted to him?
Let's see. That's 55 years ago. Let's see, what was it? He was very helpful. In fact, that's how I met him. We were the first day on campus at Kentucky State University, and he was over there helping the freshmen move in. And that afternoon, the girls were all sitting on the dormitory porch, and he and his friend came up and they were introducing themselves. And he sat down next to me after another girl that was sitting on my right. And we just got to talking, and I just kind of said, well, he's a nice young man. I think I'd like to get to know him better.
Same question to you, Marion. What
Okay.
attracted you to her?
Believe it or not, on the first meeting, I was not attracted to her, but it was God's will that it would happen. First day, as she said, we met, and my frat brother and I had gone over to the freshman dorm to help the young ladies out. The other frat brothers had been over there that morning, but they were all tired, moving their trucks and bags, point A to point B. And that afternoon, I got a frat brother to go over with me to see if the girls needed anything. And as we were approaching the dormitory, we saw this line of girls sitting on the front porch, and I asked my brother, frat brother, what side do you want to start on? So I started on the left, so I started on the right side. My future wife was the second girl that I talked to. First girl was just boom, 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 boom. And the second girl, my wife, I didn't talk to her long either because my frat brother had come through the line doing the same thing, so we left. And when he got to me, next to me, we said, okay, let's go. Back to our dorm. Now, we were seniors, okay? Now, on that Sunday, you want to hear more? Okay.
I want to know what attracted you.
Well, okay,
to
I'm getting ready to go.
Yeah,
On
so.
the Sunday, correction, that was on a Sunday. On the Tuesday, September 1958, first Tuesday in September, accidentally met her again in the dining room. And she was looking for somewhere to sit down, so I asked her to sit down, join me in, which she did. And we had lunch, and then I was saying, what are you doing Sunday? And she said, I don't know what's happening on campus, I was heavily involved in campus life, thinking that the campus couldn't run, excuse me, unless I said run. But,
No, you.
yeah, but anyway, I invited her to church. That's 11 o'clock service. I was head of the church ministry on campus also. I was head of quite a few things on campus. And we went to church that Sunday morning at 11 o'clock, and then we went to the movie that night, and we dated that whole year.
So, what
Okay, now the
attracted
question
you?
is.
Yeah, you didn't answer the question.
Yeah, so the question
Oh.
is, what attracted you to her? Those are the events that led.
Adjectives.
Yes.
I don't know what attracted, it was something that was
He
just,
thought
that's the
I-
way it was supposed to
He
be.
thought I didn't know the question. The question is more of an emotional question than an intellectual one.
Yeah.
And what you expressed was the intellectual process whereby your
Yeah.
two paths met.
Yeah.
But there's an attraction for a person to say, this is going to be my wife, a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Can you answer that? Or not?
I don't know, to me, it just naturally happened, Bill. She was beautiful as she is now, and she was a nice, quiet young lady, like she still is, unless she gets emotional. But anyway, she
Well,
don't
let me
attract.
just ask you this then. Do
Okay.
you think those were the attractions? Because she was quiet, like she is now, good looking like she is now.
Yeah.
Were those the attractions? Would you say that, or was it something else? Did she have money?
No.
So what would you say? Is one of those types of things? Didn't have to be
Maybe it was all of those things together,
Okay.
but I did not see them as, things that I'm looking for that or that. I just saw her as a beautiful person, really.
So how long have you been married?
Mama?
55 years.
55, yeah, I think you said. How
Yeah,
many
right.
children do you have?
We have two.
You have two.
We have
any
a daughter and a
grandchildren?
son. We have two grandsons and one great-grandson.
Oh, okay, so boys and one daughter.
One daughter.
And the whole thing, okay. And so where do you meet? You were saying college. Which college was this?
Yeah.
Kentucky State.
Kentucky State. So you met in Kentucky. Now, where do you get married?
We married in Mayfield, Kentucky,
her
my
Kentucky,
hometown.
In your hometown.
Yeah.
And you got married, and you obviously finished college before she did.
Yeah.
What, did you move or did you stay there?
No, I had a job waiting for me in Louisville, Kentucky. My
Okay.
cousins, who are morticians, had a big funeral home in Louisville, Kentucky. And when I graduated, I immediately began to work for an insurance company in Louisville, Kentucky. And as he was getting ready to send me to school I was an accountant, and so he was going to send me to a school to learn how to do the insurance accounting. He found out that I did not have my military out of the way. And so the president of the company asked me to go ahead and get my military duties out of the way so that they wouldn't interrupt his schooling.
Career.
Now, he was probably thinking that I was only go to the service and serve 2 years and come back. My cousins who had been in the military in World War II advised me that if I had to join the military, do not join the Army or the Marines. Only because, not that anything was wrong with them, but it was mud and pretty tough work, which is all right for those that do
What
it.
years was that? What?
Okay, this is 1960.
Okay.
59 and 60 time frame, okay? Because we had gotten married, so, hey, we hadn't gotten married then. But anyway, so I went ahead and joined the Air Force, and that was a 4-year commitment. Now, and I joined and
Joined in
enlisted.
59.
Joined in 59 and enlisted. Now, I had my college education, but the recruiters and people that I was talking to at the Air Force didn't say a word about me. I could have come in as an officer.
Yeah. Why do you think he did not?
Well,
Other
hello.
recruiter did not?
Well, I'm in Kentucky, Bill.
In 1959.
This is an
1959.
interview. We need to know what was
Okay.
the reason, because I don't know.
I think it was racially motivated, to be honest with you.
And the reason I'm saying it like this, people will see this 50 years from now,
Mhm.
100 years from now.
Yeah.
And when you say it was in Kentucky, they
Yeah.
may not
I
know
know, okay,
what we know.
yeah.
So tell them what in
All right.
Kentucky means, and
Well-
also what was happening that would cause them to do that, in your opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion,
It was
because.
racism.
In my opinion, it was racism, because people, after I got into the service and found out that I had a college education, they were shocked. You mean you are not an officer? And I never will forget, I was singing in the choir. We were stationed in Germany. Excuse me. I was singing, my bass partner was a lieutenant, Caucasian lieutenant in the military, Air Force. And he and I were just talking, and he said, "You got a college education?" And he said, "How come you aren't an officer?" He asked me that. And after the meeting and whatever, on the following business day, whatever that was, I went down to the orderly room and told them that I wanted to apply for a commission. The first sergeant told me, "Marion, you don't want to do that." And he knew immediately that I would be outranking him once I got my OTS, Officers Training School, out of the way. But I went ahead and applied. Now, this was in 1963 because we were in Germany from 59, 60 to 63. So we were still in Germany. I came back from Germany. We were stationed in a base called Columbus. What
It was
base?
Lockbourne.
Lockbourne Air Force Base in Columbus, Ohio. And I applied for commission, going to OTS, and I went to OTS in 1965. Now, my wife and I will always say that the enlisted days were very helpful to us, especially when I became an officer, to know what it was like to be an E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, because we were there. And when I became a squadron commander, we knew exactly what they had gone through, because we had gone through it. A lot of times guys would come to my military guys would say, "Sir, we can't do this. My wife doesn't like this." I would have them to talk to my wife. This is the way in which you have to do it. Because she had done it.
So you became an officer?
Yeah.
Okay, so you
Second lieutenant.
applied and they accepted you?
Yeah.
And you became an officer?
Yeah.
So how long did you stay in the military?
24 years.
Now, and most of that time was as an officer?
Yeah, we had 6 years of enlisted and another 18.
So what did you retire? What were your officer?
Major, 04. Major.
You were a major?
Yeah.
When you retired?
Yes.
So, was there any racial problems that you can remember when you were growing up or either in college?
Oh, when I was growing up?
Yeah.
In the town that I lived, Mayfield, the street that I lived on was, in today's terms, an integrated street. It wasn't all African American and it wasn't all Caucasian. The people that lived next door to me, to our family, they were Caucasian. The people that lived 2 doors down were Caucasians. And the family that lived next door to us had grandchildren that came over to visit with them. They were about my age. We could play outside in the yard together, but I couldn't go into their house.
Could they go into your house?
Possibly so, but we just never got that far.
Okay.
Once I couldn't go to visit them, I probably didn't want to invite them to my house. But I remember very vividly, and I told my students when I was teaching at the university, that was the kind of experience that I had growing up next door to a Caucasian family. It was okay. I mean, we had no problems, back and forth, but it was just that separation.
Okay, so this is it's not an intellectual question. It's more of an emotional one.
Mm-hmm.
How did that make you feel?
When I couldn't go visit them?
Or when you experienced racism?
Well, growing up in the time that I grew up, it was, I guess, we just sort of accepted it. But as a child, it must have had some kind of effect on me for me to remember it so long.
And that's why I'm asking
Right,
you
and
about
so
feeling.
I guess it made me feel like I was less of a person if I couldn't interact with them totally.
Okay, well, I'm gonna just ask this question because it fits in for right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if they were expressing that you were less, or you felt that you were less because of that experience, how did that motivate you to become so successful as I see you walking around in the community? Did it?
It did. And that was something that my parents always told me, said, you can do anything you set your mind to do. And as a child growing up, that was my goal. If I was going to do something, I was going to do the best that I could do.
And so, Marion, been in the military, I know you moved around, you talked about Germany, now you're married, and what's happening with your wife or family or both?
Yep, okay. Watch
During
me.
this moving period,
Yes,
the
sir.
24 years.
My wife and I have discussed any and all discriminations that we've experienced in the military. We cannot come up with any discrimination in the military. We were treated, to me and us, very well all of the time, even when we were enlisted, and it's not especially so, but when we became officers, same difference. She was at my right-hand side, doing whatever needed to be done. Sometimes she was the only Afro-American in the crowd, she and I, but we did whatever we had to do to make it work. And personally, Bill, we have searched, and we know racism when we see it, because we lived in Kentucky.
Right.
We never experienced it, and I'm not ashamed to say this, we never experienced it in the military. And yet,